You might have heard of red phase, white phase, and blue phase, but today we're going to be talking about the brand new yellow phase that has been added to Army basic training. Without further ado, let's get to it. What is up, guys? Ben Allen back again with another video, and like I just said, we're going to be talking about the brand new yellow phase that has been added to Army basic training. And pretty much they've implemented this phase to help slow down the spread of COVID, at basic training sites, to help keep y'all COVID-free, symptom-free, and just make sure your training is going to run as safe as possible, okay? But before we jump into it, guys, a little background on me for those of you that may be new. I did 4 years active duty as a 68 whiskey in the Army, and I recently got out in September 2019, did the whole civilian thing for about 2 months, and then just joined the Army Reserves in October 2018. So I have that active duty knowledge and that reserve knowledge for those of you that may need it. If you guys are excited to go to basic training, ready to start your military career, or have any questions about yellow phase and how it's affecting soldiers and just basic training in general, comment down below, ask me a question, let me know if you're excited, you're worried, nervous, whatever it may be. And also like this video, guys. It really helps out the channel. You have no idea. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, and that way you'll be updated immediately whenever I drop a new video or go live. And if you have any questions at the end of this video, feel free to hit me up on my Instagram at Ben_Allen175. It is literally the best possible place to reach me and get your questions answered. And so just a little thing I want you guys to be wary of when I start talking about all this is that everybody's yellow phase is gonna be a little different. It's so brand new, it's so fresh that not every basic training site is gonna be, in sync with one another. So somebody might have a different yellow phase experience than you. Some people might be going to the DFAC a little more, and some other people may not be going to the DFAC at all. And that is the case. I've gotten plenty of messages from people letting me know. And speaking of messages, at the very end of this video, once I wrap up all the info, I'm gonna be reading off some of the messages that I've gotten from drill sergeants that are currently doing yellow phase with their soldiers, and also soldiers that are going through yellow phase right now at this point in time, or have experienced it and have let me know this is what to expect. So keep in mind, this is going to come straight from the horse's mouth, letting you guys know from first-hand experience what yellow phase is. That's going to be at the end after all the informative portion of the video is conducted, okay? But jumping into it, yellow phase, what can you expect? So as soon as you get to basic training, you're going to be tested, right? Because you want to be safe, you want to make sure, you want to separate the ones that are positive from the ones that are negative. If you're negative, you're going to go ahead and move on. If you're positive, you're going to start a 2-week quarantine. So once you test negative, you're going to go ahead and move on, right? And usually in basic training, as soon as you get picked up from your drill sergeants, you start the shark attack, right? Get down on the ground, start yelling at you in your face, crazy, just going ham, right? Not the case anymore. They are not doing the whole shock factor of the shark attack, just due to the fact that they can't really get in your face due to the coronavirus, due to all of that, because if somebody was positive, they could possibly risk getting infected and spreading it, and they don't want to do that. So shark attack is still kind of there, but honestly, in reality, it's not really a shark attack unless they're smoking you in your face and all of that fun stuff, right? So moving on from that, once you get picked up, you'll be fed if it's late at night and you just got there, and you'll start that whole first week. And this whole first week, usually, because yellow phase is weeks 1 through 2, right? And typically this whole first week is going to be kind of it's going to be a shorter kind of reception, right? Just getting you adjusted. They're going to be taking this time to teach you basic things like maybe D&C, stuff like that. But you're going to be tested, like I said. You're going to be issued your boots, your PTs. Some bases are doing PTs and OCPs issued at the same time, but again, it varies. So your situation may differ just depending on what they are doing at that point in time, right? You may do a light medical thing where you get your immunizations, you get blood drawn, and just stuff of that nature, right? And once you're doing that whole 2 weeks initial thing, you're going to be limited just to the company area. You're not going to be allowed to go outside of that area due to risking infecting other companies that may be around your company area, which is why they're so keen on not letting you guys go every which way, you know what I mean? And for those of you that are wondering, it's a question I get asked a lot, like, is basic training extended because of Corona? Short answer, no. It is still 10 weeks long. They've just shortened some of the other phases, you know, being like red phase, white phase, blue phase, to accommodate the new yellow phase. So don't freak out. You're not going to be there for like 20 weeks because of COVID or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. Basic training is still 10 weeks long, right? And like I was saying, yellow phase is the weeks 1 through 2, and this is called the controlled monitoring phase, right? Meaning the drill sergeant's gonna be looking for people that may show signs and symptoms of the coronavirus, people that are feeling sick, you know, just things like that, making sure everybody's being healthy, washing their hands, doing everything the right way to help mitigate the spread of that virus, all right? And again, during this phase, you will be restricted to that company area. DFAC, probably not gonna happen, and if that, like, good luck trying to go to DFAC. I've heard they're just giving MREs, they're bringing hot A's, which is just hot food brought to them, so don't get your hopes up on that. And should y'all test positive at any point during this yellow phase or red phase, white phase, blue phase, expect to go into another 2 weeks of quarantine, all right? I know it sucks, but it has to happen in order to keep you and your battle buddies safe. A couple of things you can expect in yellow phase as well is to always be wearing your face mask. It's going to be a big deal. People have been telling me that they have not been allowed to take off their face mask at all during that phase. It's like super strict. If you're washing your hands, going to the restroom, like everything is going to be at 50% capacity. That means the sinks, you're going to use every other one, stalls, every other one. Bunks, you guys aren't even using like 2 to a bunk bed. You just get the bottom bunk. It's got sheets over it to help stop the spread, and it's easily to wipe down. Buses, if you go on any buses, 50% capacity. Just keep that in mind. 50% capacity is like the yellow phase standard, just to help mitigate the spread of that virus. They don't want to double up people on buses. They don't want to have you guys washing or shaving next to each other, just because, you know, that's close proximity. You don't want that. You don't want to be right next to somebody that could possibly have the virus. So pretty much social distancing is heavily enforced during this yellow phase. It's like harped on, and you know, if you don't follow it, you want to be that dude that's like, oh, whatever, I'm gonna just go hang out over here, I'm gonna break these rules. Chances are you're gonna get punished, however it may be, right? PT, when you guys start doing PT, it's only gonna be at the platoon level being like, it's not the smallest level that you have there, right? But it's like, in terms, it's less people than if you're doing company or battalion level PT. So it's just going to be your platoon, just working out, doing whatever it is you guys need to do for PRT that day. Any classes you may be conducting are typically going to be outside, just for the fact that they don't want to corral you guys all inside a classroom. And if you do have to use a classroom, again, 50% capacity to help mitigate the spread. And DNC, right, drill and ceremony, I've been told they've been hitting on this a lot, simply for the fact that it's like one of the only things you can do when you're like centralized to your company area. You're just on the CTA for hours doing drill and ceremony, and even then it's not the fun drill and ceremony, because you can't sound off when you're doing, like, you can't do any cadence, you can't, you know, sing the cool songs that you guys always hear about, just because, you know, you're opening your mouth, you're spreading, you know, like air particles, all that stuff. So they want to mitigate that as well. It's a very boring, very mundane drill and ceremony. So it kind of sucks, but again, it's got to happen, and this is all yellow phase. And so once those initial 2 weeks of yellow phase are completed, you would move on to red phase, and then on to white phase, on to blue phase. Red phase is going to be weeks 3 to 4, white phase is 5 through 7, and blue phase is going to be weeks, you know, 8 to 10. And each one of these phases comes with a bunch of different things. You get a little more freedom in between each phase in terms of being able to possibly eat at the DFAC, you know, being able to sound off with cadences and things like that. But this video isn't about red, white, or blue phase. If you guys want separate videos on those individual phases, let me know. Just comment red, white, or blue down in the comments, and I'll be sure to make a video on how COVID has affected those phases as well, in terms of what they've cut out, what they're not doing anymore, what they are doing, because I know I get asked those questions as well. But this is just strictly a yellow phase basic training video, so I want to keep it to that. That way it's not like a good 20-some minutes long or anything like that, or just even, I want to keep it short and sweet for you guys, because I know you guys would much rather be watching any other video on YouTube, right? But with that being said, to continue on, here are some tips that I've been told from others that have been through the whole yellow phase like amid COVID, right? And some other stuff I've seen on other videos talking about this is get your hair cut, because if you go in there looking like this, pretty much the haircut I got, or just, you know, full head of hair, you got a mullet going on, you know, business in the front, party in the back, drill sergeants are gonna hate that. They want you to look good. You know, you're a basic training, you're trying to become a soldier, you might as well act and look the part, right? So get that haircut, guys, because you're not gonna be getting that haircut initially during that whole yellow phase time frame, just because they're not really worried about that at that time. They're worried about quarantining, social distancing, and all of that fun stuff, all right? So just keep that in mind. It would help you out tremendously. And just a couple of other things, not really tips, but in terms of fun things that they've cut due to coronavirus, combatives. I know a lot of you guys look forward to combatives, you know, just pounding on each other, whooping each other's butts, all that stuff. Sadly, it's cut just because of the close proximity and all of that stuff, which it sucks because combatives really is fun. And gas chamber, they weren't really doing it for a bit, but they recently brought it back, you know, but they've really kind of just nixed it. They've really toned it down. You're not going to be gagging, coughing, all that stuff, spitting up snot, vomit, all that stuff, just because they only let you take your mask off for about 15 seconds just to test it and put it back on. You're not doing all the extra stuff that I've done in like my other gas chamber videos, or how I went through the gas chamber back in the day. It's completely just changed. It's just to let you go in there, test the mask out, that's it, right? So it sucks, I know. And also, due to Corona, like graduations are still gonna be virtual, meaning there's no family day, no family can attend your graduations, and that sucks because usually you want family to show up and, you know, support you and be there for you, but that's not the case. What do you guys think about that? Would you want your family there at your graduations? Do you not really mind? Like, how do you guys feel about no family day or family coming to your graduation? Let me know down in the comment section below. And again, if you're liking this video, you're enjoying it, you're getting some sort of knowledge from it, be sure to like this video, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here, and turn on that bell notification. That way you'll be immediately notified whenever I drop new content like this, because I do plan on doing future yellow phase updates, basic training updates, to keep you guys informed on this information. So subscribe and definitely turn on that bell notification. And again, hit me up on Instagram at Ben_Allen175. Follow me, ask me questions. I'm always here for that, all right? And so getting ready to close this video, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting those messages I had with, you know, drill sergeants, trainees, talking about their experiences with COVID. But just also to hit on one last bit, APFT, no longer really a thing. It's not the standard. The ACFT is also the new test that they're doing. It's not gonna count against you if you fail, just because they put that out like, hey, everybody's safe for these first like year and a half or so. So don't worry about that. You're not really going to be able to use any of the equipment in yellow phase, but once you advance in the phases, again, I'll make separate videos on these if you'd like, and on the APFT being cut and the ACFT taking over and being the new standard. If you guys would like, just comment ACFT down in the comment section. I'm more than happy to do that as well. And yeah, so that's just another thing that is changed a little in basic training. So ACFT is the new standard. And with all that being said, guys, that's kind of the general information that you would need concerning yellow phase in basic training. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, I got my phone right here. I'm gonna go ahead and start reading some of these messages to you to give you guys a better understanding of what other soldiers are going through. So this one is from a drill sergeant that I met through actually TikTok. So it's actually pretty dope. She was great help. She gave a lot of information. It's at DS_Taylor1, and she says pretty much from a drill sergeant perspective, yellow phase. So first off, there is no shark attack due to COVID. Drill sergeants still pick up the trainees, and we go through the normal process of a shark attack, but without the shock factor. We're not doing controlled chaos in that sense during shark attack. Now, from what I've been hearing from my battles in reception, the first thing they do is get tested for COVID, and they also have a mandatory quarantine in reception. So usually it's 5 to 10 business days, but that's extended for reception. Just keep that in mind, but this is basic training. So yellow phase is 1 to 2 weeks, which is controlled monitoring like we talked about, checking for signs and symptoms who may have COVID. All training for the first 2 weeks is confined to the company area. It's a pain, but you know it is what it is. If a trainee tests positive or shows symptoms for COVID, they immediately go into self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Keep that in mind. Based off my last cycle, yellow phase was successful in the sense of everyone complying with COVID-19 restrictions. So it's working, which is good news, because it would be a pain to be doing all this and it show no benefits whatsoever, right? She went on to say, oh, and one more thing. If you're giving out tips to recruits who are about to ship, for the males, I strongly suggest they come to training with their hair already cut. That's from a drill sergeant, guys. Their health is so drill sergeants in reception put off getting haircuts until uniforms and boots are issued, which takes about a week or so that's important to note. As for females' hair, a pet peeve is the faded color from old dye in their hair. They need to make sure their hair is within regulation and they are in good standing with AR 670-1. Again, that's all from Drill Sergeant Taylor right there, guys. So the next one, guys, is a little lengthy, but it's definitely good. She provides so much information, and she was one of the first recruits to go through yellow phase when they first implemented it. So she goes on to say, the Army at the moment isn't really sure on how to adjust to COVID, so everything was really inconsistent. I went to Fort Jackson at my reception. I got tested for COVID, and the people who tested positive quarantined there in a specific bay with others who had it. When I actually got to my company at Basic, we got tested again, then it was yellow phase. They didn't allow shark attacks or any close contact with drill sergeants because of the social distancing. We wore masks until around week 5, guys. So that's around white phase time. So keep that in mind. The whole yellow phase was just working out, cleaning a lot, and learning. We didn't mix with the males until red phase. We were just wake up, work out, clean, eat, work out, eat, clean again. So just kept on just repeating that pretty much. My red phase was a week long, then the other phase lengths were normal. In red phase, we got tested for COVID again, and my red phase was just the hammer, gas chamber, victory tower, and the phase test, and fit to win course all in 1 week. We never did combatives, confidence course, paintball fight, or night vision goggles because of COVID. Our formations were double arm intervals, all right? So just double arm interval. I feel they weren't as hard on us because of COVID. They really didn't get in our faces. Towards the end, they did. And I remember I donated blood right after the forge. I was in a room with maybe 20 people who had COVID because they did labs to test blood with antibodies with COVID while I was donating. If I went to the PX or were around civilians or we went to a classroom, we had to wear a mask. I never got to eat at the DFAC because of COVID. We ate at the CTA, which is like pretty much your company area. And so I went on to ask her like what specifically, like how'd the defect go and like how'd white phase and blue phase go, how's the anvil and the forge, right? So she said, we didn't start cadences until blue phase. We ate there once for victory chow, and then I never saw the defect again. White phase was just marksmanship. The anvil and forge were weird because they got cut short, and on the anvil we did forge requirements like simulation attacks and the gas bombs. The forge was 3 days, 2 nights. We did one obstacle, the supply carry, only to 1 point. We did not go back. We did naked night, then we shot at a range and did the medical situation and walked back to the CTA. We didn't take our pro mass and didn't get the gas bombs. We didn't go to the paintball fight. Blue phase was just the forge and throwing grenades. We still got to do the buddy team live fire. For graduation rehearsal, she says, we ran to Hilton Field like normal, but it wasn't a battalion run, it was just the company. My graduation is on Facebook because every post is closed down so no one can come in except recruits. We never ran out of smoke from the tree lines like you do in graduations, and she says it was a very spaced out formation. And there you have it, guys. Those are straight from people that have experienced it, whether they're drill sergeants, trainees, and that was a lot of good information. That is firsthand information that you guys can take with and just kind of play around with in your heads as to give you an idea of what yellow phase could possibly be like, all right? Before I end this video, I would also just like to thank everybody that reached out to me and gave me this yellow phase information, to all the other content creators that put out videos already about yellow phase, Drill Sergeant Lynch, Team Schwartz, guys, definitely check out their videos. They were huge inspirations for this one. Team Schwartz's video is super in-depth, so if you want more content pertaining to yellow phase, definitely check out his video. Great stuff over there on his channel, all right? I'll actually link that down below if you guys want to check it out. I really hope this video helped you out. Again, comment down below, what are your thoughts on yellow phase? Are you guys still excited for basic training? Are you nervous? What other videos should I cover? Do you want a red, white, blue phase video? Do you want an ACFT video? Let me know, guys. I can make it all happen. If you have any questions, again, hit up my Instagram, ask me questions at Ben_Allen175. Best possible place to reach me. I answer all my DMs. And yeah, I hope you all took something away from this. If you did, please like this video, give it a big old thumbs up, show that love, show that support. And if you're new here, again, subscribe to the channel, turn on that bell notification, that way you'll be immediately updated whenever I drop new content. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.